Welcome in to this Wednesday morning edition. Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham and Neal McCready. He is in the Clark Ford studio. More on that in a second. We've got a media day attendees list. I mean, that is just
Oh,
chum in the water for July the 9th. So, of course, we'll discuss that a little bit. I do think a couple things to take from said list. So, we'll use that as a tipping off point here this morning for the show. Dive into some other things. You got the ACC and Big 12 full on stumping for the 5+11 playoff model. Big 12 Media Day is going on right now where Brett Uramark is says might not be best for his league today, but believes it's best overall. So again, all
what is
that and more. What?
what is 5+11?
That
That's
would be
the
five. That would be the five conference champions guaranteed bids plus 11 at-large selections,
the big four, the one group of five,
and then the best 11,
and
however
then
you see fit.
okay.
That is correct. That is where we're going for there. So might get to that. Probably we'll get to that here at some point today. A show brought to you every single day by Blue Sky locations all over the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55, throughout North Mississippi as well, down into the epicenter in Macomb. They take care of you. They got Sweet Daddy's locations at most of those stops. You can get catering options. Look, ribs, pulled pork, brisket, a lot of different things there, including great dessert side items and plenty more. Call ahead. They'll wrap it up, have it ready to go. Take your order with Sweet Daddy locations. And again, Neil is in the Clark Ford studio.
Breaking it down, why TJ Dottery is a great ambassador to send to Atlanta.
3 names, 3 stories.
Three
Moving
stories.
forward. Yes,
Then you can write a separate story where you put all three of them together.
correct. You're
So
learning.
you have a main story, then you have 3 stories about each individual, and then when they arrive, you write a story that says they arrived.
They did show up.
They did show up,
Yeah.
because it would be news if they didn't. But the fact that they did is also news.
Go ahead. Like I said, get your kicks in. You got 3 weeks. Go ahead. Get all your kicks in. Let's see how you handle it. Let's
I'm in the Clark Ford studio. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. And the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. And that is hop into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the service. You'll love the product. Corey and the people at Clark Ford, they're great. They want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They'll prove to you what that means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Random thing here, but I was looking through this morning at just finding some news headlines and it was out there, and really it's been a fairly slow news day, just period. And I think we discussed this in the moment, but the more that his time has gone on, I'm all in on this Waymo. I saw today that they're allowing now teenage accounts. So if you're at 14 to 17 years old, you can now sign up for Waymo as well and get the
Hell,
driverless cars that they're only in a few cities. I mean, they're only right now in like San Francisco, Phoenix, LA, I think. But I think we're about to be expanded into every major city in the next like year to 18 months. And I am completely, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm getting a little too AI, a little too tech, whatever, but I'm all in. I can get in the car, it'll just show up, it takes me where I want to go. The accident ratio stuff has been really good so far, and I don't even have to worry about the potential of talking to someone. There is no one in the car.
oh yeah.
Like you don't
That's
even have to wonder or like click the thing on. And I mean, Ryan says this, says that those won't get trashed at all. It appears that there's a little more, and I could be wrong. Again, I haven't been in one, haven't been in those cities, at least in the time period they've been there. But it appears that there's a little more structure on getting signed up or whatnot, and that it's been pretty good as far as the maintenance and the operation of said vehicles to this point. I'm kind of in here.
yeah, this is You can tell we didn't know show prep because I have no idea what you're really talking about. I've gotten context clues now to understand what you're
So it's
talking.
Uber, but it's a driverless car. It just shows up. It has your name or whatever on the top of the vehicle. Like you have to like use your phone to scan saying it's you. Doors unlock. You get in, and then it drives by itself with no driver, just a complete tech driverless car to your destination. Stops at your destination. You get out, and it charges your card.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking of all the scenarios where that goes wrong. And it's going to go the speed limit, right?
I'm seeing here that they said, let's see, G-Man 210 says they're autonomous cars, which is their like generic name. They're in Austin. Feedback was that people are upset because time of arrival takes too long. They abide by the rules of the road to a T.
Yeah, and what if the car never unlocks? It's good. What if can you unlock the car yourself? Can you get out? What if you get carjacked?
What if you get carjacked with an Uber driver? I mean,
Well,
okay.
Uber driver would know to like gun it and try to get away. The autonomous car is just going to sit there and get.
Well, you don't have to worry about that anywhere around here. You're not going to get carjacked. Come on.
Well, we're not doing it in Oxford.
Oh, hop into Memphis. You're fine. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
No.
Waymo is awesome. Drives better, smoother than 99% of the drivers out there. You can select a playlist to listen to, Sammy says.
How about that?
They have a ton of cameras inside. They can shut it down, I'm pretty sure.
Do they have it in Atlanta?
No, it's only in like those 3 cities right now, I think. But it's coming a lot of other places here soon.
Because I was going to say you're going to be in Atlanta soon for media days. You could Waymo your way around Atlanta and chronicle it.
Could. Oh, I would be doing videos the whole time. I'm all in. G-Man 210 likely would be an opportunity to make money on your investment of your car in the future. Your car drops you off at work, then goes to run ride request.
Oh.
Well, that's interesting.
Of course, when you get back in your car, you have no idea what else happened to that car. I mean, stuff could
Ryan,
go
there's
down.
an entire movie franchise about why this is a horrible idea. He's referencing Final Destination, where the machines kill all of us. So yes.
Yeah. Oh
Sammy
no,
says it scans 360 and IDs any moving threats nearby.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. I mean, look, the whole I don't have to talk to somebody is appealing, but there does come a point with this AI thing where if we eliminate the need for people, what's next?
Where are you?
We eliminate people? I mean, what how does that work?
Well, look, every industry is going to be affected to some extent. Now, it can't carry on a podcast the way we can, so I think we're safe at least on this side of the medium. But I
mean, I hope.
I think everybody has to figure out where their baseline and standard is with AI. Like what's okay, what's not, what are you comfortable using it for, what are you not? I've been thinking about that a lot, even just from a chat GPT standpoint, is sort of where do I draw the line on what I'm cool with it helping with and what I'm not cool with it helping with? Because I've used it a pretty good bit in the last few days, but
I've noticed that your work reads different.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
ChatGPT, here are the attendees for SEC Media Days. Please provide me a 500-word story on the Ole Miss angles involved in such. Thank you.
well,
Prompt.
And then write it 4 different ways.
Hang on a minute. Let's play. Let's play. I'm just curious.
See? There you go. This quote is not going to be a problem at all.
So you're not using it really whatsoever, though, are you?
No. In fact, I tried.
You struggled with the prompt the other day.
Yeah, and I couldn't get it to do this coming season. It kept giving me last season. I was like, well, no shit. I know they went 9-3. I didn't need you to tell me that. I watched the games myself. Ole Miss lost at Florida. I knew that. I mean, tell me. I'm aware.
Oh God. I know. I mean, I don't know. For some reason, the last couple of weeks, I've been just sort of on what where I am with it, what I'm okay with, what I'm not. Like it was doing some very basic like contract stuff for me yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Um, basketball media op while I'm doing yesterday. Any news out of that? You went?
I did. It was
Was it
interesting.
eventful?
It wasn't eventful, but it was interesting. First of all,
Well, just wondered.
major appreciation. Honestly, this summer's been great. From an access standpoint, um, getting to kind of meet these guys a little bit, so that when the season rolls around, it's going to be easier to tell stories and introduce these people to you, the fans, the ticket holders, the people that watch, the people that cheer for this team. It's going. I think it's. I think it's more fun to cheer for a team when you know who the players are. I don't think that's. I don't think that's breaking. I don't think that's a profound thought. I think that's accurate. And I give Chris Beard a lot of credit. I think he knows that, and I think he saw the way that people kind of fell in love with that team late last season, and yet helped that they were winning NCAA tournament games. I totally get it, but it also helped that you started getting to know the guys a little bit. You felt like you knew Sean Padula and Jalen Murray and those kind of guys, and I think they're trying to get ahead of that this time. I thought there were a couple of interesting things that Beard said. Um, he talked about, and I thought this was interesting from him on July the 8th. He talked about how they've had 4 weeks together, and it's still early, but that he likes. You can tell he likes the feel of this team. They don't have everybody together yet. Like Elias Camerdine's not there yet. They feel pretty sure he's going to be there in August, but he's not there yet. So he's not practicing with them, and he's going to be a big part of their team. Corin Johnson is not cleared for full contact yet. He tore his labrum, had labrum surgery. That's a big surgery. He's still a few weeks away from being cleared to actually play basketball where there's contact. So, you don't know what your team is going to look like. But I can tell that he likes this team's personality. He likes the way they interact. I think he likes their work ethic. You can just tell he likes this team. But we'll see. I mean, it's way, way, way too early to like dive into how they'll finish in the league or where they'll finish in the league or all that. That's impossible. You anybody that really tried to do that right now is just guessing for clicks. You could write. We'll give you 16 stories to write, though. You should think about that. But I don't. There was that, and then kind of at the very end, we were finished, and so I don't even know whether I should talk about this or not. But it was the thing that was the most profound for me. I think I can safely talk about it. Chris obviously spent a lot of time in the state of Texas. He's from Texas, coached at Texas Tech. He coached at Texas, coached at JUCOs and stuff in Texas. I mean, Tech is a pretty big part of his, DNA. And I asked him, I said, your family, anybody impacted by what happened at Camp Mystic? And he kind of got emotional, not like breaking down, but you could see a shift. And he was like, yeah, all of my girls went there all the time. And if I understood him correctly, one of his daughters earlier this summer was actually a counselor at Camp Mystic, I guess in the first session.
Had an earlier session this summer.
They had 4 weeks. You go for a month. And then, so I'm sure they had a month and then they had a break and they went back for another session that was impacted on this. But that was pretty profound. I mean, he knew the man who ran that camp, who died in the flood. trying to save girls. Um, he said he'd gotten to a point where he couldn't read about it anymore. He was too shook up but that there would come a point that they would do something to try to help from a fundraising standpoint. I mean, he was obviously personally impacted, and his daughters were personally impacted by just the absolute tragedy that happened at that camp. Man, there was a picture yesterday, a whole cabin. They had taken the picture at the beginning of the camp. I mean, you've got a daughter this age, man. I mean, they'd
Daughter
taken a
who was
picture.
at camp a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
Daughter at an overnight camp a few weeks ago.
they'd taken a picture of their cabin, the two counselors and all the little girls. These girls were probably 8, 9 years old. You know, so cute and teeth, everywhere and all the stuff that happens at that age, just adorable girls, and they're all gone. Everybody in that picture perished. And it just, man, I looked at that yesterday and it ripped my guts out. I don't even have a connection to that place. I can't even imagine what he was thinking when I asked about it. I almost felt bad for asking about it because I was just trying to be nice, and I mean that's you could tell it had weighed on him, and obviously his daughter, who had just been there as a counselor. And for those who don't have daughters, the girls that become counselors are the ones that absolutely loved camp. They loved it, loved it. And those kind of kids that become counselors at those places are really typically pretty cool kids that are great with little kids, and the little kids just adore their counselors. And you can just imagine the hell that they went through, and all their families and parents. And that was the thing that I think was what I took out of that 20-something minute. I think it was like a 27-minute media session, which I can't remember ever doing 27
That's odd
minutes.
for us. Yeah.
For us. Yeah, I mean, it was long. I asked a basketball. I was listening to LeBron James and Steve Nash's podcast that I listen to pretty frequently when they do it, and they had Kevin Durant on as a guest, and I'd been listening to that at the gym earlier, and they were talking about the return of the mid-range, and I was asking Beard about mid-range, and he gave this 6-minute answer about shot selection that was pretty fascinating. But that's what came out of it. It was, you can see why the guy's such a good coach. I mean, you can see how he took a team that, with the possible exception of Malik Dia, really didn't have any NBA presence at all, and took them to the Sweet 16 and within just a bucket of the Elite Eight. You can see how that happened. He's a really interesting person, but that was, he typically kind of sticks to the basketball thing, and when he talked about the camp, you could tell that was something that had absolutely personally impacted him.
Stephen Ellen's thread. My daughter was there earlier this summer, and my niece was there and had to be rescued. Lots of families having a hard time. Jeez,
Yeah,
thoughts with you guys?
absolutely. I'm glad your niece is
Okay.
okay. I saw the one interview with the little girl who one of her best friends had died, and oh man. I mean, I get why media goes and does those stories. I understand it. I've been there. I've done, not covering camps, but I've covered tragedy. And it's a job, and it's part of your job. But man, I felt so bad for that little girl. It's a lot to process. It's a lot to process at 58, much less at 8.
Yeah, I guess I was coming back from Nashville on Monday, and I was just kind of scrolling on my phone, and I saw a story, and I knew it was going to impact me emotionally as I was reading it, but being sort of a journalism nerd, I wanted to read how they set the scene at the same time. And it was a Washington Post reporter who was walking the grounds with a father who was looking for his child, and just, I mean, the imagery and the way that it was written, you could see it, and it was gutting. I mean, completely and utterly gutting in every way.
Yeah.
Um,
I did 1 year of that type of journalism in Birmingham when I was on the crime, basically the police beat.
mhm.
I'd get there in the morning and basically I'd go cover a tragedy, a fire, um, a murder.
Cold call door knocks, asking people going through hell
Yep.
to have info or comment or something.
Yep.
Brutal.
It was hard.
Brutal. I mean, just
It was hard. It was that was work. And there were days, man, my shift was like 5 to 2, I think. I think it's right. I had to be there by 5 a.m. I usually got there about 4:35, 4:40. And I was through at 2. And sometimes I was not quite through and they would make me go home because I think they were afraid that what would happen is exactly what happened. There were days I went home and just sat there.
mhm.
I mean, that was just not stuff that I was not wired. You know me. I mean, I don't like horror movies. I'm not wired for that stuff. And
Neil
I
had to
knew
take a break on Breaking Bad at one point in a season, so it's fiction. Um, but no, you have to be
I did
wired
not
in
have
both ways.
I did not have
You
an altercation with Parrish Alford. That is not true.
you did not. Now y'all were in the ULM mafia. Um, you have to be wired in your level of compassion and handling the situation in real time, and then you have to be wired in the ability to put it away.
Yeah.
And that's a very special, certain skill set when it comes to the both of those things. But just horrible in every way. Um, yeah. As I go into first break, I see your Thunder and Chet Holmgren have agreed to a fully guaranteed 5-year maximum rookie
Oh
contract
yeah.
extension that could reach
Hell
$250
yeah.
million.
Good for my guy Chet.
Agent Bill Duffy of WME Basketball just told ESPN. So, yes,
Let's go.
I'm shocked that Sam Presti got something accomplished today. So,
Thunder up, man. Hey, I watched Jalen Williams YouTube yesterday. He did a 15-minute YouTube about his wrist injury.
mhm.
My guy went for 40 in an NBA Finals game where his wrist was getting completely shot up to the point where he couldn't feel it. Had to redo his shot because he couldn't do the wrist. When he's healthy, he might go for 80 in an NBA Finals game. We might win 12 in a row. This might be the beginning of. This might be the dynasty that makes the Jordan Bulls dynasty look like they had a nice little run.
I have a question
might
for
be
you. I have a
Celtics
question
from
for
like
you. We're going to come back in. We're going to ask the question in a second. Then we'll get to media day. We got plenty of time. We're hanging out with you.
I know
today.
you've
First,
been watching a lot of.
Yes.
I know you've been watching a lot of summer league. I mean, this Nikola Topic, man, for a 19-year-old, didn't play last year because I mean, not so bad. We're just gonna ask him to come in and give Shea some backup minutes. Man, they might have so many parades in Oklahoma City that they just start scheduling them.
This is the same guy that when Chet Holmgren got hurt last fall said the entire season was over and we could just turn it off and he would never watch again. So just be aware of that as we move forward. I'll come back. I'll ask my question in a second. First, NE Spark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, Spark offers both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabits. That's an increase from 1 gigabit. To learn more or register for service, visit nespark.com. NeSpark, get connected, stay local.
Just a second. I'm writing a story about the 82 players that did not get to go to Atlanta. One by one. Sunshine Perkins not going to Atlanta. Why? How? I'm kidding. I'm just joking.
Snub.
Oh, snubs. Media day snubs.
That's the word. Snub.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, South Haven, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. Oxford locals, Ole Miss families, if you need dry cleaning or laundry done right, Lapel's Dry Cleaning has you covered, proudly serving the Oxford community since 2016. Lapel's takes care of everything from suits and formal dresses to comforters and everyday laundry. Even better, they offer free pickup and delivery to make life easier. Just call 662-638-3149 to be added to their pickup and delivery route, or visit them at 3010 Old Taylor Road, right across from the Mark condominiums. Mention MPW Digital for 50% off your first order. Trust Lapels to keep you looking your best. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Seago Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan, whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere. Schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. Again, rebelsretire.com. And we're brought to you by Arnett's Fine Jewelry. It's a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamons Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer pretty much everything you could look for in jewelry, including jewelry repair, engagement rings, wedding bands, diamonds, stones, pearls, bangles, flexible bangles, diamond pendants, earrings, pretty much everything you could want. Wherever you're looking for a gift that's jewelry related, go to Arnett's. Arnett's wants to be your jeweler.
So I'll get to my question in a second. First, two things to wrap up previous topics here is this is turning out to really be a July 9th type podcast today. First, Waymo is in Atlanta. It debuted on June 24th, and it's through
Let's
the
go.
Uber app. It's through the Uber app. So when you open up Uber, it might give you a Waymo as an option, although it doesn't get on highways or airports. So you
Okay.
only use it locally around town. But
You'll be downtown. You can take it around downtown. All-Star game's going to be there. You could go to the All-Star.
You think I can convince like a dinner companion to take the Waymo with me in this video and on Sunday? You think we can get that done?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm interested now. We got to find this. Got to keep like canceling the Uber rides until I get the Waymo option. My rating's gonna go all to hell.
Your rating's going to suck at the end of that, but sure.
And then, okay, so I told here we go. I told ChatGPT, this is actually kind of scary, and I'm gonna try not to offend anybody else when I read this, but I asked it to write a story, a news like a content item, a journalism piece. That's probably really overusing the word journalism here, but on Ole Miss at SEC Media Days, a preview. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it built out about a 450 word story, the first few paragraphs. Ole Miss will be well represented next week in Atlanta as the Southeastern Conference hosts its annual football media days at the College Football Hall of Fame. Head coach Lane Kiffin will be joined by sophomore quarterback Austin Simmons, junior wide receiver Cayden Lee, and junior linebacker TJ Dottery when the Rebels take the stage on Monday, July 14th. Each of the three players brings a unique angle to the spotlight, highlighting Ole Miss's shifting identity as it enters the 2025 season with big expectations and new leadership. Simmons, the talented left-hander who reclassified into the 2023 class and earned his undergraduate degree this spring, enters the fall as the frontrunner to replace Jackson Dart under center. He saw limited but meaningful action last season, completing 19 of 32 passes for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns across 9 appearances. Most notably, he helped lead a comeback win against Georgia when pressed into duty mid-game. Media Days will offer Simmons an early leadership test, giving him the chance to speak publicly about his development and goals as the new face of Kiffin's offense. It's the first about 200 words there.
I mean,
I know some people that would bottle that up and be happy with those pros. Pros, Prose, not PORS.
It writes a lot better than a lot of the people who get paid to write.
That won't be the worst Media Day preview that is on the interwebs today.
No, sir. No. Truer words have never been spoken.
So when the time comes, hopefully for you, a ways away, More upset by the departure of a front office person, Presti or Theo Epstein?
Ooh. Come on. Why are we I'm feeling good today. Why are we doing this?
No, it's a good thing because it means you had success and it matters. I mean, when Mickey Loomis leaves, even though I have a Super Bowl, I'll go help him pack his damn pillows. I mean,
Yeah. Uh, yeah, bet. You and three-quarters of New Orleans. Oh, God. You want to bring people together? Hey, we're packing Mickey Loomis's stuff. Man, everybody out there be like kumbaya. Presti, man. I
you
mean,
think it's Presti
yeah.
over the guy that gave the Cubs their first World Series in over 100 years?
Yeah, because I mean, I was like I told you, I'm not one of the people that hates LeBron James. I actually, I mean, I get sometimes he does stuff that's really annoying, and I totally understand it. But most people do things that are annoying at times. He is a really smart basketball guy, and when he and Steve Nash sit down and talk basketball, it's pretty good. And they had Kevin Durant on there yesterday, and they were talking. And of course, the Thunder, I guess they had recorded this while the finals were going on, so the Thunder had not yet won the title. But they were talking about what Presti had put together and what he learned from that first iteration of the Thunder with Durant and Russell Westbrook and Serge Ibaka and James Harden and all those guys. And it was pretty obvious that both I don't think KD wanted to completely go there, but it was pretty obvious that both Steve Nash and LeBron James, two people who know a lot of basketball, felt like this iteration of the Thunder was going to be difficult to dethrone for very long periods of time. That they were very complimentary of what Presti has done and how he's done it, and then they got into the cap stuff, and it's like Durant was like, they got to keep all these guys together, and Nash sort of corrected him with they've positioned themselves to do it, and they have the amount of patience and foresight that Presti has had. I think it sets him apart from even Theo, because if you look at the Cubs in the years right after the title, and we'll see what happens with the Thunder, but the Cubs made some mistakes in things that they did and didn't do in the immediate 24 months or so after they won the title. And I mean, they haven't won a playoff game since 2018.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had a little drought here.
I think this clip, speaking to what you were talking about with LeBron, and then I'll move on, was I think it was when he and Reddick were doing the podcast, and I watched a good bit of that, even not really giving a crap about basketball because I just liked hearing Reddick talk. That's one of my things with sport. But I think they were both talking, and I forget which one asked the other, but the question was essentially if you're creating a franchise from scratch and you get one human player or anything, and I think the person picked Presti as their first pick, even beyond a player.
Whew. I mean, that's strong, but I get it.
Yeah. That basically, if you weren't worried about winning immediately, he would figure it out eventually. So take that instead of.
Not to spend so much time on this, but here's the difference, right? Getting a Major League Baseball free agent to come to Chicago and play at Wrigley Field is much easier than getting an NBA free agent to come live in Oklahoma City. I mean, I like Oklahoma City. I've been there a lot, and I think it's a cool town. But it's not New York or LA or Chicago or Philly or one of those places where, if you have tons of money, and most NBA guys do, you can live a pretty fun lifestyle. And Oklahoma City doesn't have a lot of that. They've got some of it, but they don't have a lot of it, like nightlife and things of that nature. And you just see how consistent they've been since they got to that city. And yeah, they've had elite talent. Obviously, they've had 3 MVPs now: Durant, Westbrook, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But I mean, he's figured it out too. Like his adaptability in drafting people. Like one of the reasons they drafted Holmgren was that Holmgren's personality was such that he was the kind of person who would be inclined to stay in one place for a long time. Presti's really good. I mean, I think if you offered Sam Presti to the Grizzlies, Memphis would jump.
Mm-hmm.
Their ability to put a team together, because the two markets are pretty similar, and the difference is OKC just has such franchise synergy because of I think you have to give the credit almost exclusively to Presti.
So jump around. I got a couple things I want to talk about, but the media day thing, I did want to hit it for a second, and I was sort of making a joke when I thought we were going to completely preview media days, but I'm looking at the list, and I have one thought that potentially says something about the SEC one way or the other, and it's that there's been some years where we look at it and go, hey, that feels like a weird list of attendees because there aren't very many quarterbacks on it. People aren't sending their quarterbacks. They don't know who their quarterbacks are. There are a lot of quarterbacks on this list. And a
Yeah.
lot of guys where if they have above average years, you won't be shocked. And college football is completely operated by the ability for the quarterback to make plays beyond anything else, just the way the rules are set up and everything else. And I think it works in both ways. If you have a quarterback that I kind of believe in here on this list, I give you a little small check and maybe give you a little higher uptick, the possibility for some upward momentum to your season. And then I think the inverse is true, where if you don't, and it's not you doing some stupid seniority thing for media day, I kind of go, that's probably not the best situation given where things are inside the conference moving forward. I mean, I'm counting it here. It's 11 or 12 teams that are sending their quarterback to media day, including teams such as Ole Miss. And I'll give, I mean, I guess one of these was no brainer, but Ole Miss and Texas credit for sending their young quarterbacks to media day and not avoiding that just simply because they're first year starting quarterbacks and doing that thing. Austin Simmons and Arch Manning both on the list for attendees this season.
And they're both guys that will handle the media thing extremely well. Yeah, I mean,
yes.
They'll both be major hits on the media circuit.
There will be a little bit of a crowd around those two when the time comes.
I mean, the Arch thing is going to be insane.
What day is Texas?
I'm not sure.
Here, let me pull up the schedule.
I mean, I'm not at that level. I'm not at that level of journalistic employment. I mean, I could go.
LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, day one.
LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Good. So Ole Miss and LSU in the same session, best I can tell. Greg Sankey will also speak that day.
Yeah. In terms of the most interesting part of media days, it is the first hour when Sankey speaks.
Yes. Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, day two. Hugh,
that's
Kirby,
pretty strong.
Heupel, Sarkisian. Bama,
Yeah.
Florida, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, day three. God, Jeff Lebby sticks out like a sore thumb in that group.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is what it is.
Day four, Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, Texas A&M.
Ooh, that's not great.
I guess you're counting on A&M to kind of keep people there.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those deals where people are leaving early in the week anyway. So, I mean, someone's got to go on the first day and someone's got to go on the last day. That's the way it works. There will be a lot of media that will stay for Texas A&M, sure. Be a lot of media there who covers Texas A&M. And the big corporate partners are staying the whole week. They'll be there. They're not leaving. ESPN, SEC Network, and all that. They're not leaving early on Thursday.
Ole Miss did the right thing. Simmons, Cayden Lee, Dottery. I think that's completely the correct three. Been talking about it for a month. I think that's what I would have done. When you
Yeah, I
look
think.
at people to handle the moment and prominent players on your roster for the season,
Yeah,
both.
I mean,
I mean,
you're
quarterbacks are going to be completely overtaking the day.
Cayden will be terrific. He's an incredibly charismatic young man. TJ is too. I like TJ a lot. Actually, one of my favorite people on that team. And then Austin's you A, he's your quarterback, and B, he's one of the main leaders of the team. I mean, he's not going to be overwhelmed by a media throng. I'm not sure you can overwhelm him with anything.
No, he is, and I mean it in the most positive sense. He is the most borderline confident, arrogant, cocky one of the players I've covered more than anything, especially before they've played. He believes he will handle any situation, and that will turn into some mistakes on the field, but it will also turn into a lot of positive plays as well. Several people asking about Perkins. Dottery just has the better personality for that event. It's nothing against Perkins as far as on the field, but of the two, Dottery makes more sense to go do that.
Parham.
Yes.
Dottery has better personality than Perkins. I
Look
expect
at
to see.
on three over there trying to stir stuff up. I mean, look.
To see that today.
Yes, yes. Alabama not sending a
Perkins is
quarterback.
an absolute dud.
Yes, Alabama not sending a quarterback. They're sending two defensive players and an offensive lineman, Cayden Proctor, the longtime Tide legend. There coming
I
over.
mean, here's the thing.
The Ty Simpson situation is weird.
Because inside the building, if you know Ty Simpson's going to be your quarterback, you send Ty Simpson. And so by not sending him, it kind of sends a message that maybe he's not the guy, or maybe you're not sure he's the guy, or maybe we're terrified that if we send him that one of the other young guys will check out. I'm not one to make big deals out of who does and doesn't go to SEC Media Days in the middle of July, but I did put a little check mark by that one as like a, hey, remember this just in case.
Okay, I'm with that. I think that's where we are. Arkansas sending Taylon Green, Xavion Sorey, Cam Ball. Okay. Auburn taking Jackson Arnold that has a lot of weight on his shoulders these days. Ooh, boy.
But good on Hugh for taking him, because it would have been easy to do some BS about, hey, let's take veterans and blah, blah, blah. And look, you might as well get that Oklahoma stuff kind of out of the way a little bit, because it's coming. And that good on them for taking him. He's a huge part of the story of what Auburn is or isn't.
Florida is taking DJ Lagway along with a couple linemen, one on each side of the ball. Georgia taking Gunner Stockton as they should, but also Kirby being Kirby, he has not named Gunner the starter yet as they get into media day. So, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but by taking him, you're making it fairly clear.
Kentucky is not sending. What's the kid?
Zach Calzada.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. They are not taking him.
Can't even.
He is taking 3 seniors to media day.
I'm selling Wildcat stock.
Mark, some advice. Just get out. Go away.
He doesn't. Why? He's got $30-something million to collect.
Okay, sorry. Mark likes horses and bourbon and is getting paid a lot of money to go 6-6, maybe. Okay, so never mind. All right.
I mean, if I'm Mark, I'm like, hey, I'll be happy to leave.
Andy Staples was on to something a few years ago when he said Kentucky was the best football job in the country.
Look, I love
Andy.
They
just pay the hell out of you and you have no expectations whatsoever.
I love Andy, but I've been saying that since the 90s.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean.
I've been saying this since the 1990s that Kentucky and South Carolina might be the 2 best jobs in the league. You don't have to win.
LSU, Nussmeier, Chris Hilton Jr., the wide receiver, and Whit Weeks, the junior linebacker that Ole Miss is very aware of from last season.
Hell of a player. Nussmeier just got engaged. Did you see
Did
that?
he? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he like propose on the field or anything? What did he do?
No, it appeared that he was at a beach somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you seen video?
No, I've not seen video. I just saw a picture on social media.
Oh, okay.
I'm a pretty few fans. I follow most of the team on social media, and it popped up.
Okay, I got you. Fair enough. I'll look at the second half of the. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm an Aubie. I was called an Aubie.
You know, that was one that was mostly played out. I haven't heard the Aubie thing in a while, but I did see that came back yesterday.
I mean, I haven't been on the Auburn beat since 2003. You would think 22
I feel like
years.
some of the disses you've had in the last week or so, it's like people have been stuck in a time capsule, and the disses from 10 and 15 and 20 years ago have come back. And we're like, we've kind of moved on. A lot of water under those bridges.
There was some Hugh Freeze stuff yesterday that, as God is my witness, I just don't remember. I maybe I have blocked that out, but Chase, I racked my brain yesterday trying to remember what the guy was talking about, and I just don't.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird thought exercise as I'm watching it unfold. So, all right, podcast brought to you by G&M Pharmacy. 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync. Fill your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you, whether you are in Tyson Drugs or Oxford with G&M. They offer MedSync, deliveries, all those things. They will handle it for you. So either location, give them a call. They can transfer your medications very easily. One phone call, they take care of the rest. Again, that's 662-236-2222.
We're brought to you by the College Corner. They've got autographed helmets, autographed footballs in stock as you start getting ready for the big football season, 8 home games. So you want to start getting your gear ready to go for those games at Vaught Hemingway. Games on the road too, but they have 8 home games in Oxford, so lots of tailgating and such to do. So get in touch with the people at the College Corner. They have 2 locations in Jackson and one here in Oxford, right off of the Oxford Commons, right in the Oxford Commons, right off of Sisk. Big, very nice facility, lots of easy parking. You can get in and out quickly. They got all the best gear, all the colors you're looking for at the College Corner. You can also check them out at collegecornerstore.com. Call Argent Welts 401k Advisory Services team today, and they'll conduct a complimentary, no obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Mention that you heard about Argent on this podcast on MPW Digital. You get 10% off your first year's fees. We're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide travel network that allows him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits, simply not available to other travelers. So get in touch with John, give him some parameters, give him a budget, let him give you some options, and know this, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself at corinthdental.com.
So I'm going to finish that in a second, but we haven't talked about this. It's come up multiple places, and I'm seeing more stuff today. I think it's probably a good time to bring back to it. By the way, G-Man210, congrats on getting through that Peachtree 10K. He said it went great. He went with the A6 Nova Blast 5S. They were awesome. He did not win. Well, better luck next time. Maybe you'll get it next time. But
Right. Yep.
Yes, that is the humbling thing. You finish the marathon. I get back, and daughter looks at the medal and goes, "Finisher, you didn't win." It's like, no, that was not the thanks. Appreciate it. That's not how that works. So,
no, I did not win the Philadelphia Marathon. Nope. Nope.
Did not win.
Had a
So,
0.0% chance of winning.
are you following AL.com all over Freeze for playing golf this month or last month?
I have been aware of this story. Yes.
So it continues to pick up steam. It started with who's the writer? Matt Stahl. Yes, Matt Stahl, AL.com. He went
I told
through and picked out who
you,
had do what?
I told you this was coming a year ago. I didn't know it would be golf, but Chase, if they don't make the playoffs, they're going to fire him. And I told you this a year ago, and you're like, no way. And I'm like, look, I lived there. I did it. It's one of those things, and I hate when people say you had to be there. But this is one where, and I bet Grind in the thread is going to agree with me here. Until you've lived in that state and sort of experienced it, you just don't understand that it's different. Not in a bad way necessarily, not in a good way either. Just different, really different. And they're not going to give him this super long runway.
Yes, I am building up to Lane's tweet, but I'm giving people the context and the background prior to doing that. Lane is what brought it back to my attention on something that's been a couple weeks old. So Auburn lost a trio of blue chip prospects over the course of a week here recently last month. And look, Stahl knew what he was doing. He listed all SEC coaches and their handicap and how much golf they played this summer, but this was directly related to Freeze and his overabundance of golf in the month of June. He posts that Freeze has been playing a ton of golf. He's posted 10 rounds, now gone to 11 after publication in the month of June, maxing out the number of public rounds the GHIN will show at one time, meaning he's over 20 for the calendar year. Says that he has the lowest handicap at 7.4 in the SEC among head coaches, which is a negative for this story. That is not a positive at this point that he's the best golfer in the league. Says his game has gone downhill a little lately after he played the region's traditional celebrity pro-am in May with a 5.9 handicap. It was down at a 4.6 there at one point. He lists a bunch of different stuff. And yes, again, put the update where he said Freeze posted another score on Tuesday after publication, his 11th of the month. The next closest is Shane Beamer with 3. And that was because he was hosting a media golf event. By the way, he does a golf tournament, a golf event where he plays golf with media for the day. I mean, how much money would Kiffin need to pull that one off with us for the afternoon?
I mean, that would be a fascinating exercise. Lane, how much NIL money has to be raised for you to play a round of golf with a bunch of media, local media?
Drew fighting back. Neal goes, "Oh come on, he isn't getting fired at 8-4." I think they're packing his bags all to hell at 8-4.
I mean, listen, Drew. I know I have a reputation for being a fighter here lately, but I'm not gonna fight you over it. I'm just telling you. I would bet at 8-4 he's gone. The only thing that could save him at 8-4 is Alabama goes 8-4. That might give him a slight chance.
This is also on the heels of they were asked about Freeze's he asked Freeze about his progress, and it was pretty lukewarm. He talked about patience and all these different things in his comment. It wasn't fire and brimstone in a much of a positive way. And then Casagrande writes a commentary on this in the follow up there at AL.com and says this all got enough oxygen to add another paper cut to an off season that continues to lack the urgency you'd like to see after an embarrassing 2024 football season. 4, Freeze shanked another one, not a traditional loss, but another online setback at a time he could really use some wins. That's how he closed the
because DeBoer is winning in-state recruiting right now. Is that right?
that appears to be accurate. Well, and Auburn, like I said, lost those 3.
For now,
And
I mean,
yeah,
there's
sure.
still
I mean, it's not over, but
no one's made all their final offers yet.
it looked in the moment.
Here's where I thought I'm going to tell you the warning sign for me that I don't think Auburn's going to be very good. And I could be wrong. I haven't studied the teams and stuff yet. I really haven't. that whole we're going to do this rev share thing by the book thing felt like, I mean, Hugh Freeze giving lessons about we're going to do it by the book kind of falls on deaf ears, at least for me, because had they just done a couple of things by the book here, they wouldn't have even gotten caught. But it felt like you were planting an excuse seed.
What was this?
Where he and your guy Cohen, your buddy John, they talked about at Auburn they're going to do this thing about the NIL rev share thing by the book. They're not going to cut any corners. They're not going to. It felt like saying, "Hey, we're not going to have enough," but there's a reason we're not going to have enough. It's because we're following the rules. We're doing the Auburn way. And I read that and went, "Huh." Somebody's not super confident.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. So the last part on this is I'm doing the responsible journalism thing and localize it, is that Hugh on May 19th. So this has been a while. I mean, this had to go back. You had to go back and find this tweet. On May 19th, Freeze tweeted, "Great time at first annual," which is a sin in and of itself. It's inaugural, Hugh, but we'll forgive you. It's not annual until there's a second one.
Yep.
Great time at first annual Ryder Cup between MMCC and BCC at Sage Valley. I believe that is Birmingham Country Club and Moores Mill Country Club there in Auburn is how that plays out in words. The cup comes home to Auburn this year, great times, and it is Hugh holding a big trophy with a golfer on top with 3 men to his left and 2 men to his right, a 6-man team as they get out of a Sprinter van. So again, May 19th, okay? So you had to go find this tweet. This is an important part of this. Lane does go find this tweet. He quote tweets it and says, "Great job, coach, exclamation point, exclamation point, game is on fire." So I mean, A+, just A+.
He's an elite Twitter troll. I mean, his Twitter troll game is just chef's kiss at all times. I would be scared of Lane Kiffin coming after me on Twitter. I mean, it's funny.
Lane knew exactly what Lane was doing.
Yeah, and I guess that debt will be paid at some point, but it apparently is not paid yet.
They are not on the schedule here soon.
Look, I'm just telling you, the fact that this is such a story, it feels like seeds getting planted, and maybe they'll win. I don't know. I haven't looked at the Auburn schedule. I guess I'm gonna pull it up now because I'm curious.
Drew says to get to 8, they need the 4 non-cons, which I think includes Baylor, Vandy, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Missouri.
All right, here's their schedule. You ready?
Yeah.
At Baylor, August the 29th. I mean, they got to win that. Surely they win it, right?
Yeah, probably.
Ball State, that's a win.
Okay. Yeah.
South Alabama, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
September 20th, they go to Oklahoma.
That's a loss.
I mean, well, that's a bad loss because you took their quarterback and then went and lost.
I think Mateer's better than Jackson Arnold.
Grind's right, by the way. Jackson Arnold's going to sort of determine 2 seasons this year. Because if Hugh wins with him, it's an indictment on Venables. And if Hugh can't win with him, it's like, so you paid all this money to get this guy that can't win? Then they go to Texas A&M. I mean, this deal's hard. They go to Texas A&M September 27th. They get an open date. They're off on October 4th. They play Georgia at Jordan-Hare on October the 11th. They play at home on the 18th against Missouri. On October 25th, they travel to Arkansas. November 1st. So here's their little stretch where you can't lose. They get Missouri, then Arkansas, then Kentucky at Auburn. They go to Nashville to play Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Mercer at home. Alabama at home on November the 29th. I think that's what that says. You want to do best case, worst case? I mean, worst case, they lose to Baylor. They lose to Oklahoma. They lose to Texas A&M, Georgia. We'll give them a loss in this quartet of games against Mizzou, Arkansas, Kentucky, and Vandy. They lose to Alabama. He doesn't survive that. No chance. No chance. Zero. I mean, best case, they beat Baylor. So best case, they start 4-0 when they go to A&M. I'm not going to give them the A&M game in College Station. That feels silly. They got to play Georgia. Then I guess in best case, they lose A&M and Georgia. They beat Mizzou, Arkansas, Kentucky, Vandy, and Mercer. Probably lose to Bama. Best case is 9-3. He'd survive 9-3. I think anything less than 9-3, and it's really problematic. That's my belief. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm kind of with them. They're not beating Oklahoma and Baylor.
If they don't beat Oklahoma and Baylor, he's not going to make it.
They lose to Baylor off the top, and it's over.
If they have a loss by the end of the day on September the 20th, he's not going to make it.
Mm-hmm. Just is what it is.
My opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know what their money situation is, but
looking at the rest of these teams real quick, Mississippi State, Blake Shapen now the quarterback after that last year. He is leading the Bulldogs, who have a Vegas over-under of 3.5 wins from the multiple books that have come out to this point. Missouri not sending a quarterback and replacing their guy is going to be a little problematic. I think there's some growing pains there in that, even though Drinkwitz has done a hell of a job and they've got a manageable schedule. But he was
they
a
got
gamer.
the kid from that Bo Prabula, or is that how you say his name? The kid from Penn State. He's their quarterback.
Yes. Yeah, the backup from Penn State. Why don't you bring him?
I mean, I don't know Eli Drinkwitz, but he seems like he's a little
graduate senior.
So he's doing the whole veteran thingy.
Allowed to put the asses in the seats. Oklahoma, John Mateer, Robert Spears Jennings, and Mason Thomas. So the quarterback coming for the Sooners.
Yeah.
Lenore Sellers coming for South Carolina, along with DQ Smith and Nick Barrett for the Gamecocks. Tennessee not bringing a quarterback. They lost one in the offseason. Instead, got 2 defenders and a tight end.
You don't think Heupel's going to be asked about Nico?
Maybe just touch once or twice. Texas sending 2 upperclassmen defensive players, along with Arch Manning, the sophomore quarterback.
They could have brought anyone as long as they brought Arch.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't matter. A&M not sending Marcel Reed. They are sending Will Lee III, a senior DB. They are sending Tyreen York, the junior linebacker, good player, and Armaj Reed Adams, the offensive line graduate there for the Aggies.
That's failure on Elko's part.
It is.
I mean, Marcel Reed's come on. Happy birthday to him, by the way. I think yesterday was his 21st birthday.
How do you know that?
I saw it on social media. I follow his dad.
Okay. Vanderbilt.
Look at me, man. I know about birthdays, engagements. People say I'm not dialed in.
They say Neil, of all people, social engagement, social calendar over here. Got it going. Vanderbilt is sending, obviously, Diego Pavia. That was the free space of all free spaces in the world.
Yep.
Headed to Media Day, along with Martell Height, the junior DB, and Randon Fontenot, the outside linebacker safety, the junior there for the Commodores.
I mean, Diego Pavia is going to get Vanderbilt's going to get more media attention than it normally does because of him.
Of course.
I mean, they made some noise last year. Look, that game for Auburn in Nashville is not a gimme.
Well, Diego's had some history there in that series.
Beating him twice.
He has. Who knew Diego Pavia would be the biggest problem for Hugh Freeze on the Plains?
It's fitting.
Is it?
In so many ways.
Somebody pull back that video from the New Mexico State game, put it on Twitter for us, with Jeffrey saying it was the greatest day of his life while his wife sat next to him.
This is the greatest day of my life. Whoa. Hold up. It's about to become the worst. You're about to experience all the extremes.
Yes. Were we just doing that randomly, or was it in a post? I guess it was in a post. Was it in a post game?
It was so Ole Miss had played ULM that day, and
Oh, so we were just hanging out because they played
and
ULM.
it was the day that Carson had a home soccer game against Clinton, and I didn't want to miss it. And that game started at the same time, and so
I went to the game, then I came to the studio after.
Yeah, you went to the game, and I started a show.
That's right.
And Ole Miss had beaten ULM, and there was really not a whole lot to talk about. That was the year that they'd just gone to Athens and kind of gotten beaten up. And Lane, to his credit, was like, "We're not a playoff team. This isn't, And so there wasn't a lot of compelling storyline to that day, and so we ended up just having a show like this one, and we had Jeffrey on, and we were getting ready to stop, I think, and we flipped to that game.
That's right.
And it was interesting, and we were just like, well, we can't leave now. And we stayed and podcasted to the end of that game.
Yes, that is correct.
and got that moment, yeah.
Yeah.
We've had, frankly, two of our very best post-game shows have been after Ole Miss nondescript, sort of boring wins over nobody.
That one and the Bo Wallace call in after Georgia Southern.
Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about in the Georgia Southern game. It was like, who knows? We'll see.
So really, we just need Hugh Freeze to be a catalyst, and we have really good non-conference post-game shows.
We've been criticized for that, but look, the numbers speak for themselves, and those were viral shows.
Yeah, who would have? I don't know. I'll tell you. I mean,
who would have ever guessed that the game that we would have like the biggest views from that year was ULM, but alas.
Take our final break to tell you about again the Delta Cup 7, courtesy of Blue Delta Jeans. That's October 10th at Fallen Oak down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. They're moving from 4-man teams to 2-man teams this year, a little more of an intimate gathering. Chance to just pair off, play some golf, entry fee covering golf, food, beverages, custom pair of Blue Delta jeans chosen on the day of the tournament. They got special pricing on other items on tournament day as well. You get your own resort room for Friday, October 10th. All taxes and resort fees included. On-course food and drink. Take home the Delta Cup trophy, the inaugural one. See, Freeze, not inaugural. That is behind me on the shelf, actually. The first one. You can have a chance at the 7th one right here. Friday night after party and more. Again, go to BlueDeltaJeans.com for information on Delta Cup 7 at Fallen Oak.
We're also brought to you by Parish Brewing Company. They're located right there in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Their simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they really do it. Listen, when you're out at the grocery store, maybe you're going to Blind Pig or Funky's or something, they've got Parish products. You should grab one. Give it a shot. Any of them. You'll love them. They're great. Wherever you look for beer, look for Parish Brewing Company. You won't regret it. We're also brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art Hayes can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email Art at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
Had our first inside the park walk-off home run last night since 2016. It was kind of a cool one. Did you see the highlight of that?
That was the Giants, right?
Patrick Bailey hits the ball into the gap, and it sort of kicks along the wall and then shoots towards center field. They had 2 runners on. They were down by 2, I guess, and he came all the way around to score easily.
Wow.
And walk it off.
But they've had 2 of those recently. Didn't they have a inside the Parker against the Braves?
That feels right. Braves, by the way, who lost 10-1 to the Athletics last night.
I mean, it happens.
39-51 on the season.
Wow.
Not good. Not good. What do you think your code is going to be? It's going to be 75% off. What are you going to do?
I don't know.
You're not sure?
I'm just excited. I'm just going to be excited to be inside the Rebels, man.
We're going to do some deep dives on day one. Tim Tebow and wife welcomed first child. I see ESPN talking about that today.
Don't say it.
It was just right there in front of me. I'm just mentioning what happened.
Curve behind curve.
You okay?
Yeah, I just in my mind I'm laughing my ass off at the joke. So
That's what Neal should do, actually. He should publish his first story as a depth chart. Here's the projected depth chart for 2025.
Oh, that'd be great.
But broke down in positions. Here's the quarterback depth chart. Here's the running back depth chart. And more. All the Big 12 mascots are at their media day. They're like doing a Spider-Man meme right now. Like it's a circus.
Well, I mean, isn't that kind of the Big 12's brand a little bit? Is that hey, we're the fun league?
Yeah, because they're doing it at the Cowboys practice facility.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's smart. I think that guy, what's his name, Yormark?
Yeah, Brett Yormark.
I think he does a really good job of like, here's who we are. We're comfortable in our own skin. We're going to be the fun league. Cool. You're not the Big Ten and you're not the SEC, and there's no particular reason to act like it. Like that's the ACC's problem, is that they can't accept that they're not. And so they try to act like they are. And the Big 12 goes, we're not. And so we're not going to act like it either. Cool. I get it. Kind of admire it.
You think Sankey's going to push hard for the 4 automatics next week?
Yeah. I mean, I've said this before. If I'm Greg Sankey and I'm the SEC, I'm like, listen, we have the ability to take our ball and go home.
We respect what Brett Yormark is trying to do, but frankly, that's not our problem.
100%. I imagine that's exactly what he thinks. I don't think that's anything personal. I just think it's him going, why would we agree to something that doesn't guarantee us
the max number of possible bids
that we deserve? Because at the end of the day, the SEC and the Big Ten absolutely possess the ability to just go off and have their own postseason tournament, and everyone would watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And when people go, no, they wouldn't. Yes, they would. Everybody would watch the Alabama-Ohio State national championship game. They would. Everybody would watch Ole Miss versus Texas in a national semifinal with the winner going to the championship to play the winner of Michigan, Penn State. They would. Everybody would watch that. In fact, everybody would watch that tournament because you have a 16-team tournament that was, and I know on the surface it doesn't sound like this, but people watch the NFL, man. People watch the wild card game in the NFL when it's a 9-8 team.
Mm-hmm.
They do, Chase. Every year, people watch wild card games, and the odds of one of those wild card teams winning the Super Bowl are pretty slim, and people still watch. They get monumental numbers.
Austin says, thanks for Super Chat, by the way. Says, is there any smoke to the Memphis to the Pac-12 rumors? I don't think so, but I'll ask Jeffrey tomorrow. The only thing that is a little interesting is, and Jeffrey and I discussed it a good bit in detail 2 weeks ago, I think on a Thursday, is what does the university in Memphis and Memphis in general life look like without Fred Smith? What changes or moves or what potentially could be altered by his lack of presence moving forward?
It made me think about Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
I
suddenly
think that's fair.
you don't have that parachute.
Hmm. I mean, it was a throwaway line, but I mean, Jeffrey's right. We were talking. I mean, I don't think I repeated it, but you can go back and listen if you care about the Memphis angle we discussed because we spent a good bit of time on it. Was I had said something about a Mount Rushmore of Memphians, and he said, "Well, it's not a Mount Rushmore; it's one statue, but it's four iterations." He said it was Fred Smith in the '70s, it's Fred Smith in the '80s, Fred Smith in the '90s, and Fred Smith today. So
Yeah.
that's that's it. So
I'm not going to argue with Jeffrey's knowledge of Memphis.
yeah,
You
for
know.
sure. So that's what stuck out. But no, I haven't heard that at all.
But I kind of think on Monday, the Sankey address, he typically is very diplomatic. It has felt recently like he's on the cusp of letting his hair down a little bit, if you will. And I mean, there's no reason for the SEC to compromise.
No, none.
Just zero. There's no incentive at all, other than the whole. And you'll get some of this from some of the media types, the national media types that will be there because they're like, well, shouldn't you do this for the betterment of the game? And that's where I keep waiting for Sankey to go, that's not my job. It's not my job at all. My job is for the betterment of the SEC. My job is these 16 programs that are here is to maximize them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's literally a formula where you could take half the damn league. And people go, well, that wouldn't work. 14 SEC teams went to the basketball tournament?
They did.
Yeah, nobody said jack.
No. We will talk to Jeffrey tomorrow. Got plenty of stuff up, more coming. I know a lot of people liked our visitor guides for Lexington. I published the Athens visitor guide this morning. So if you're headed to Georgia, there's some restaurants on there that if you want some of those places, you should go look through it because you're going to need reservations early. So it's worth the click to kind of see some different restaurants and options there. If you're headed to Athens for Ole Miss's game between the hedges on October the 18th is the date on that. We know it's a flex game. It will start somewhere between 3:30 Eastern and 8 o'clock Eastern is the way that they are doing that. So that is a flex day, but the visitor guide up now at the Ole Miss 24/7 Sports site as we speak. So hope everybody had a good day. Appreciate people on the stream. Good super chats. Thank you guys. And a lot of conversation as well. So take care, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.